Fuck
definitely.
it.
You know he's not cutting it out. This is
No,
this
I
is
know. It's
staying
gonna
in.
leave this in. It's like a Christmas best of, like all of the good shows.
Mhm.
Right. Okay, let's get started. Welcome everybody to episode 59 of Heresy Hammer. Today's a very special episode because it is our 2024 Horus Heresy year in review. You can tell it's special because we've all bothered to make the effort to put aside our differences, and you can tell who gets along better with who as to who does the shows. We've decided, as it's Christmas, peace and earth and goodwill to all men, etc. We've decided our differences and all joined together to discuss the last 12 months in heresy. How are you both?
Yep,
Yeah,
good.
good.
Yep.
See, this is why we can't do it together because we all talk over each other.
Yeah, this is the problem. We haven't quite got this down pat yet, to be honest with you. So, for those who don't know, I'll be hosting today. My name is John. I'm at D6_miniatures. I'm joined by my glamorous co-hosts, a man who takes his username very literally, Lee, at Death from the Shallows, and a man with the administrative capacities to make even Roberto Gilliman blush. It's Rob Medway.
Hello.
And also fancies elves, space elves.
He also fancies space elves. Yeah,
You're right.
he's got to fancy some sort of elf. It might as well be a space elf.
True.
So we did one of these last year, and it was very well received. So we thought we would jump back in and do another this year. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly from 2024 in the context of Horus Heresy. And my co-hosts don't know this yet, but I've prepared a special Christmas quiz that we can.
Oh,
Oh,
fucking
right.
hell.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's good. I like that.
So go and grab yourself a pen and a piece of paper because we're going to have a
Yeah.
few little questions to see who is the inaugural winner of the Horace Lupercal Memorial Shield.
Excellent. Got one. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Good, right,
Okay.
okay. But before that, we have some administrative things to discuss. The first off is saying a big thank you to our sponsors. The first being Bits Monster. Bits Monster are a kit breaker. In terms of, they'll buy a box, they'll split it down, they'll sell you all the component parts. So you can get only the bits that you want and not the bits that you don't. They offer free UK shipping over £25. And if you use the code HeresyHammer at checkout, you'll get 10% off all Horus Heresy items. So go and see those guys for all your bits and kits. Gate 3D printing, another huge thanks to Dan, who's been instrumental in 2024 for us, who's printed a lot of the miniatures that we have released this year. If you want high quality and exclusivity, go and see Dan. He's at Gate 3D on Instagram and Gate 3D Printing on Facebook. And then a huge thanks to Curtain Games, who are a store based in Devon near me, who supply the majority of all of our plastics. If it's plastic, it's for Horus Heresy. We're buying from Curtain Games. They offer fantastic pricing, speedy delivery, and wonderful custom service. They also have a gaming venue at their store as well, and they host regular Horus Heresy events, so make sure to check them out. The last bit of admin before we get started is you will, by the time this video comes out, only a few days left to get involved with the Great Christmas Heresy giveaway. We're giving away, amongst other things, an entire Mechanicum army to one of our lovely patron supporters. So we did a whole video about this released last week, but essentially you need to join the Patreon before midnight Christmas Eve, and then there's a little question on the Patreon for you to just answer, just to confirm your entry, and away you go. Anything else? All good? Everyone set?
Ready. Ready and raring to go.
Wonderful. Right, so I think this is going to be a little bit controversial, and mainly because Kerry has put this together in a controversial format. So we shall see how we go. So here we go. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Horus Heresy 2024, a year in review. Let's go. So we're going to start off, I think, with the good.
Yep.
Character model support. Right, Rob, take it away. What do you think on this topic? Kerry has put in the good column. This is one for the win column.
Yeah, I think this is good. I think that are these all the characters that we got? That's
I
an
think
awful
these
lot
are
of
the
characters.
majority, but I think we had others as well. I think
Yeah.
actually we potentially
Okay.
had more characters than space to show the characters.
Okay, all right. Yeah. No, this was really great. And it was great to see characters like Hibu Khan, and I want to say the either or the or Tybalt Mar, that was what it is.
Mhm.
Much needed update to apothecaries because I think that the old apothecaries are looking a little bit tired. I think the new
Yeah, I agree
ones
with you.
look really, really good despite the many mold slips at the back of the apothecary. But this has just been really good. I've really liked it, and the characters. I think there's not been a character that I've kind of disliked. Um, yeah, it's been good, and I think that it's been really nice linking the books with the characters that we've got as well. Are they in stock? That's a different question. But the principle of getting lots of extra kind of characters has been great. Yeah, that's all I have to say on it, really. I think, yeah, and I think the Warsmith was a bit of a triumph.
Oh,
That showed off last week. The hammer's just probably a third too big for
Oh,
me,
oh, come
but
on.
you and your
the
fucking hammers.
the Warsmith, yeah, it was an absolute triumph. I think both like iterations of it.
Yeah, so good. So
Yeah.
good. Lee,
Well, I was
thoughts?
going to say we got Warsmith, so what more do you need? That's it, really,
Yeah.
isn't it? Done. Tick, tick. Yeah, awesome.
I think it was good personally to see some of the characters who we've not yet seen, mainly from a sort of generic standpoint. A la Siegebreaker.
Yep.
We haven't had a Siegebreaker model ever, and the Siegebreaker has existed for
Yeah, true.
what,
Yeah,
12 years.
yeah, yeah,
Um, we've got a lot of interesting new characters and big names that we've yet to see models of, e.g., Lil Horus, Shadrach
Yeah.
Medusan, Endred Heart, etc. And we know that we've still got some stuff to come. You just got to look at the campaign books and look at, we've got still going to have a Camba Diaz at some point, a Katie's next long at some point.
That's a good point. Yeah, I hadn't considered that really, but yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. These are a firm winner for me. I don't think there's been a single pup that's been released from the characters all year. I think if you really want to pick holes in stuff, you could. I'm not sure there's a single model that I'm looking at here that isn't at least an 8 out of 10.
No, I mean the Horus Axeman is probably the weakest for me, but even then it's not bad. It's quite good.
Yeah,
It's just the weakest out of what is. I mean, the Tybalt Mar model is an absolute triumph. Like it's fantastic.
us,
I reckon.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been a phenomenal year for character model support. I think whoever sculpted these has knocked them out of the park. You could
Mm.
easily rework a lot of these as well into generic Legion form. Yeah, just
Yeah.
brilliant. Well done. You've absolutely won this one. Good job.
I, just to say,
Oh,
just one final thing before going
oh,
on to that one. It's interesting, I think, with special characters because we've got all these special characters, but not a
hmm.
lot of UK events actually have special characters. So I'd really like to see in 2025 more events having more special characters. And don't do that thing where you just limit it to the first come, first serve
Oh
because
no, once more.
it's just like, well, it just favors whoever's on Facebook first, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it does. You know,
yeah.
people who've got busy lives, who can't manage to get to Facebook in the first 10 minutes, who just completely miss out and they can't play the ones that want. So yeah, but I'm all about special characters 2025. Yeah,
Okay,
love
I
it.
like it. Let's
Yeah.
do it. Let's do it, Rob. We have
Yeah.
the power. We have the
We
capabilities
do. Yeah.
to make it
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah. Too right.
Heard it here first. Okay, the good plastic Mechanicum. Lee.
Oh, so yes, this is fucking awesome. Like this box set, the character, I've brought it all, and then I started building some of it.
Yeah. Big.
And then it took me about 5 days to build one Thalax, and I was a little bit like, oh, I kind of missed the resin
Yeah. Careful what
Thalax
you
too.
wish for, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks good, but it's in a million pieces.
Um, yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? Like, I would rather have plastic than resin, if I'm totally honest. I know not everyone agrees with that. I think you just have to factor in that it's going to take you a lot longer to build, potentially, than what the old resin used to build. Um, but the main thing is price range, really, isn't it? Like, this is just more, way, way, way more affordable.
Yeah. I think that's it
Way more
totally.
affordable. So I'd rather spend a few more days building stuff than spending the sort of money you had to spend before. And I mean, we're already seeing more Mechanicum at events, so it's obviously
It's working, right?
working. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, they are fucking hell. Those Thalax fucking killed me building them. I only
Yeah, I
built
think
like four, and I was like, oh God.
yeah. Anyone who's ever owned a resin Mechanicum army, though, I guarantee 95% of the people who've ever owned a resin Mechanicum army would have either snapped a castle
Oh
arm at
God,
the
yeah,
elbow
yeah,
or a
yeah.
phalanx at the ankle. So,
Those little knobbly bits that stick out on the Castellax.
oh
On my
man,
last army, half of them were just like little bits of metal.
pin. Yeah,
Yeah, pins. I just
yeah.
fucking up, pick it up, snap.
Yeah.
My best one was when I was playing a game against one of our friends that me and Rob knows, Steve, and he'd put one of his Castellax right in the far corner, and someone didn't see it, knocked it off the
Was that
table,
Oh.
and
at
it
the greetings
shattered.
event?
No, no, this was at
Because
Warhammer World.
I seem
It
to remember
shattered to 1,000 pieces.
I seem to remember at a greetings event, I think you and I were at, Lee, and you were when you playing well, I'm sure it was you that was playing someone with a
Oh, I
Thanatos.
don't know.
And I remember seeing you later on, and you're like, I don't think my game got started for an hour and a half because his Thanatar fell off the table
Oh,
and
that does ring a bell.
evaporated. And there's about 50 people in the hall, and all you heard was this thunk smash. And then
Oh God.
Oh
everyone
God.
stopped and turned around.
But I dropped one of the Thalax when I was painting it, and it just fucking bounced. I was
Yeah,
like, God, that wouldn't have happened previously.
both
Yeah.
But
ankles snapped.
so yeah, this for me is an absolute win. Like
Yep.
bit of a pain to build. Like just take that into account if you are looking to start Mechanicum army, but affordability and not losing your mind, constantly snapping pieces off.
Mm.
Yeah, win, absolute win for me.
Rob?
Yeah, this has been really good. And actually, at our events this year, like, December, November, yeah, we had a disproportionate amount of Mechanicum armies, like 4 out of 24. Bear in mind, there are 18 legions and other, armies that you can take. 4 out of 24 were Mechanicum based. So, it's really interesting the meta shift now that these are in plastic. I really like the Archmagos model,
Yes.
but I think that what this did really well was supplement kind of existing 40k kits. So
Yep.
my head leaps to the Magos Dominus model that we have. I'm not sure if it's called that, but there are kind of two cool Magos Dominus Archmagos models that you can get in plastic that already exist. The
Yep.
Skitari, the Axiarch, like all those models that we have in plastic already, and then those things just supplement this as well. So it's not just the 30k releases that we've got, but we have access to the things in 40k plastics as well, which already I think look really good. So the range is vast for Mechanicum now. I think that it's inevitable that we will probably get the Krios, sorry, the Krios first of all, and
Caragnos.
the Kragnos, that's it, yeah, because we already have that tank in plastic, so it's literally just a weapons frame, isn't it? A sprue.
I
Yeah,
built
yeah,
a resin one 2 weeks ago, and I cut my thumb about
Yeah,
5 times. Honestly, what a horrendous thing that was to build. I was
yeah,
thinking to myself, because you look at it and it's like the main hull is a dozen pieces,
yeah, 100%.
but
Yeah,
holy crap, trying to straighten those pieces out. I had like a
yeah.
big Pyrex dish in front of me full of boiling hot water, just trying to
yeah,
straighten everything out. It was
yeah. Fucking
an
hell, yeah,
absolute nightmare.
yeah,
Scolding
yeah.
yourself to bend a resin
Yeah.
tank is not ideal.
But
So this has been a triumph. I think the if I've got the smallest of criticisms,
yeah,
it's that
go
the
for it.
Archmagos model doesn't come with like a number of weapons. So it comes with a
Yep.
heavy
Yeah,
conversion beamer, and it would have been nice to say like have like a phased plasma fuse or
Agree.
a grav gun or something like that. But that is a small criticism because I actually quite like that model. But it
it's a
also
good
I
model.
don't think it comes with like an alternative head. So just
No,
something to make it a little bit more unique to you. But you can play around with these things, do weird and wacky conversions. But that is my smallest criticism because I think this again has been another triumph for Horus Heresy this year.
Yeah.
see, it's funny, isn't it? Because I wasn't going to buy that model because I was like, I want to, I'm a special snowflake. I want to build my own
Create your own, yeah.
Archmagos,
Yeah.
and then I brought it anyways because I'm like, it's such a cool model.
Yeah,
Like,
it's really cool. Yeah,
It's
it's a
very,
cool
very
cool
even
cool.
just for the
model.
bits. I think
Yeah,
it's
Yeah,
100%.
20
yeah,
quid and you get a load of bits in the box. If you've got like plastic Thalax and you're not using the phase plasma on those or the photon thruster, you can
Yeah,
jam that sucker over. And I
100%. Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's a
yeah,
good point.
the
Yeah.
Mechanicum range as a whole is, I think actually when you look at the book, the Mechanicum is the broadest scope because there is so much opportunity for kit bashing, converting, being unique that I think you could pretty much turn up to a table with anything on a 40 mil base and tell me that's a Thalax, and I'm probably likely to go, okay, cool.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a good
yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that Artisans of Vol guy has done some really good upgrade kits to make the Thalax into Ursarax as well. I think Lee, you saw those, right? They just literally like the arms,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
um,
yeah.
and you literally add it to the Thalax kit, and so
I think
there.
Battle Bling have done the same thing, haven't
Yeah,
Well,
they
I
have.
they?
think they have a
They
deal.
are.
They have a deal with us as well, so they
Okay,
print
yeah,
Yeah.
his
yeah, yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
So uh, I think that's really, really
Yeah,
cool.
it's
So
a good
people are
idea.
taking it on
Yeah.
themselves to fulfill the gap that we have currently. That I would imagine we'd get filled in 2025, but up until
So
that point,
I would say the only thing I'd say with the Mechanicum is I am surprised we haven't had a second wave yet, um,
mm, hmm
of things like Sirax and the tanks and whatnot.
the Krios, yeah,
I
It's
feel like
almost
it would
like they
be,
released it and
yeah,
then that was kind of it. We haven't heard much since.
yeah, because the
I would
Solar
imagine.
Orcs has had a steady streak because we had the
Yeah,
initial box, which I assume must have been late 2023. And then that's been the tanks for that have just been continual, or it's felt like
Yeah,
it's just been continual. Yeah.
it just feels, yeah, I don't know. What were you going to say, John? Like, it just feels to me like,
I think I
yeah,
think it would make sense that the third edition rumors are that we're probably going to see it summer next year, if if the internet is to be believed, which obviously
and
Elon, if you believe he
yeah,
should.
why would you not
Um,
believe the internet?
oh yeah, I mean I've no reason to be proven wrong ever. It would make sense as a bit of a filler for maybe beginning part of next year. I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah.
other than character kits, you can't really see a bigger release on the horizon. But it's interesting because I think I looked the other day, the Karachnos isn't even available on the Warhammer website, as in it doesn't
No,
like it's never existed. Like
no, yeah.
the page cannot be found. 404 error.
So it must be coming, mustn't it? But
Yeah,
yeah, that's my only thing. I would have thought by now we would have seen the other option for the Thanatars and yeah, some of the tanks, but
It
I'm
took us
sure
so
they will
long
come.
to get a Duradio last cannon version.
yeah.
Like, it's like
Yeah,
that's the
true,
interesting thing. It's just
true,
taken
yeah.
so long to get
Mm.
those ones. So,
I mean, the
but
Malcador's been out for what, 9 months now in plastic, and we've only just seen the sort of preview of the other two Malcador chassis.
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah,
Um,
lots of these things are taking a long time. So,
yeah, and that's fine. I genuinely think I totally agree. This one 100% exists in the win column. This has been a brilliant, brilliant release.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay, the Battle for Beta-Garmon campaign book. So the reason I think this was an interesting one because Siege of Cathonia was a completely new theatre of war we hadn't heard about before.
mhm.
It felt like it had been invented specifically for the game. Beta-Garmon is a well-established um, sort of lore series, and I think this would have been an easy one to kind of get wrong, sort of trip over themselves when it came to this book. Um, Kerry notes that it has got good lore. It has got excellent lore, and that's helped by the fact it's already got a lot of good backstory. So you can kind of you haven't got to tell too much of a story. You can dig a little bit deeper into it. And obviously,
Mm.
we've done a phenomenal lore series on the Battle for Beta Garment. So please go back and watch those episodes or listen to them on the podcast. They are brilliant. Actually, I think they work really, really well on the podcast. So
Mm.
if you've got a long drive over Christmas, then make sure you download those episodes and put them on to annoy your family or indoctrinate them into the heresy. We've got the rules for Black Shields, which I wasn't sure would ever come, if I'm being honest with you. I don't know why. I just had this feeling that we were never going to see the rules for Black Shields.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, agreed. Yeah,
I think that would have been an easy thing to just leave in the past and move on from.
yeah, yeah,
We got the rules for Shattered Legions, which, whilst it's nice to have them, you don't really see them taking them because they're an
No,
absolute
they're way too complex. They're way too complex. Way too complex for a 3,000 point game or a 3,000 point event. Like shifting units, no special units. Like they'll probably be good in a ZM event. But because you're playing 3,000 points and it relies on the player. Um, it relies on the player knowing their rules really well, the shifting rules for each unit. I just think that like it's just too complex. I really like the old Shattered Legion rules where you basically had like different
Yep.
units, and I think that this is where great concept, but I think when the rubber meets the road, I just think in reality for 3,000 point events, it was a non-starter. If you're playing with mates, smaller games though, um, that's where I think it probably will work. And you might go, well, we've got an afternoon, let's game. I'm going to use this thing. Let's just see how it works. So I think that we're often event focused, but I think that there is a place for it.
Mm.
But just for events, I think it's just way too complicated.
Yep.
Like, yeah, and it requires people to understand the rules really well. I mean, I play Mechanicum players and have done over the past 6 months, and like Mechanicum players find it difficult to know all their rules because it's such a complex list. I mean, imagine an army where the rules are ever shifting depending on like who is in and out of a particular unit. I mean, gosh,
Yeah. It's crazy. I think there's an awful lot of trust you have to place in both yourself and your opponent if you're playing with or against Black Shields,
yeah,
because this is you
Shattered,
can trip
Shattered
up on your
Legion.
grip quite
Yeah,
easily.
yeah,
Sorry, Shadow Legions,
yeah.
apologies. However, you have got a group of mates and you've got a spare weekend, you might want to use the generic campaign system found in the
Hmm.
Battle for Beta-Garmon book, which
Yeah,
I think was absolutely brilliant. I think
yeah,
if you are new or new to Horus Heresy and you want to play in a more narrative format, but you're not sure how, rather than just trawling through and finding legacy missions or exemplary battles missions, you can just grab this book, start at the beginning, work with the campaign, and it's really, really well laid out. And I think it also provides a really good backbone for a narrative event. If it's maybe your first time as Neo and you just want a skeleton to build a framework around, then this is an excellent way of doing it. Lee, what do you think?
Yeah, yeah, agreed. I'm a big fan of campaign systems. Yeah, 100%. If you're going away for a weekend with your mates or you just want to do it over a period of time, if you play
Yeah,
like once a week or something, just smash out a campaign, go to the system. Or if, like you say, as an EO, you could even do it like that. And then you can just say to people who are coming, this is the campaign system we're going to do. So they can have a read through it before the event.
yep,
Um, but yeah, I think campaigns are a brilliant way to play the game. Um,
I agree with
I
you.
think it definitely kind of gets rid of that win at all cost mentality when you've got a story flowing through the games. Yeah, big fan.
Wonderful. I think this is spot on, to be honest. Absolutely spot on. Very, very, very pleased with this book overall. It was always going to be the difficult second album after Siege of Cathonia and what that introduced. And I think
Yeah,
I don't think it was quite as good as Siege of Cathonia, but I think it had a lot of good stuff in it. I would be tempted to say I really enjoyed the background to this book way more than Cathonia, but I'm a huge sucker for Zone Mortalis. So I think that was always going to be a difficult one for me to follow up on, but I think they did a pretty damn good job. I think it
yeah,
can quite happily sit in the win column. Everyone agree?
yeah,
Agreed.
Everyone aligned? Wonderful.
Aligned.
absolutely.
Okay. I'm not quite sure why I can't now cycle through this. Hold on a second. We'll try this one now. So the good. Our first look at full-blooded heresy Dark Mechanicum. So this was
Hmm.
obviously for Limp or 8mm or Legiones Imperialis, but we had seen Dark Mechanicum not just teased in terms of model range, but we had rules for them earlier in the year in the Exemplary Battles PDF. We had a little bit more stuff that came in one of the campaign books, but we got to see what I describe as the design language for the Dark Mechanicum. And I think I'm really impressed. I think it looks fantastic personally. What do you guys think? Lee, why don't you give your impression?
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I was initially quite surprised. Uh, they love their kind of scorpion slash spider vibes, don't they? But yeah, I really like these. I will be fucking amazed if we ever see it in 28 millimeter. Um, but I would like to think that we would see something, because there was another thing they showed for Limp, like the tiny little dudes that were
Yes,
like some recon thing. I can't remember.
they look like the bloat drone from the Plague Marine or Death Guard 40k
Yeah,
range,
so
don't
I
they?
would be more. I would I would imagine we would see something like that before we saw these in 28 millimeter. But it's yeah, it's nice to see them kind of progressing the Mechanicum units. Like you say, these aren't fully 40k chaosified, but they have the kind of spikes and the kind of bits around the edge of the armor that
The
kind of
cogs,
link
spikes and cogs. I
into.
think you can't go wrong with, can you? Really?
Yeah, and that links in more with the 40k models we've seen, like the Blood Slaughterers and stuff, which are obviously like more 40k than
Yeah.
30k. But yeah, I'm a big fan of these. I like these. I like them a lot. But I don't think we'll see them anytime soon in 28 mil.
Rob?
Yeah, so let me just get this right. So this dropped similar sort of time as the Mechanicum Civil War book, didn't it?
Yeah, just after, I
Um,
think, if memory serves.
yeah, I think that this was nice to see a design language that was halfway between what we understand as 30k Mechanicum and what we understand as like
Oh,
Oh, Rob.
A few moments later.
it was nice to see the design language between this is a halfway house between what we understand as Horus Heresy Mechanicum and 40k. Because I think personally things like the Brass Scorpions are a little like Brass Scorpions, the Decimators, I think they're called, the Blood
yes,
Slaughterers.
yeah, yeah.
I find them a little bit out of place for when they're kind of just in a Legion army. It's nothing personal, like you may not, but I just find them a little out of place. So it was nice to see this kind of like bridge between those two. I agree with Lee. I find it hard to believe that these will be coming out. These will I would put money on these are not coming out for 28 mil in 2025.
Yeah, I don't think
And
so.
I would suspect if they are ever going to come out, because they look absolutely ginorm, very spindly, they'll come out in like 2029. Like, this doesn't feel like we're going to get these anytime soon. But it was interesting to see, I think, the scale of these models. In particular.
Mate, I am rubbish at this today. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing wrong, but here we go.
I did offer to do it, and you were like, no, 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 I'll
Oh
fucking
no,
do
it's okay. It's fine. Don't worry. It's the last one of the year. Let's just get through, go home. So,
it.
yeah, gloss over Dark Mechanicum. Well done. It's been brilliant. Well, this was just a subtle tweak, so we could just leave this image stood up for longer. It's been a good year for Heresy Hammer patrons, according to Kerry. He should know because he
Always a
was
good year for Heresy patrons. Heresy
yeah.
Hammer patron.
How many kits have we sent out, do you reckon, this year for miniatures?
Oh, God.
I mean, well over 250.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
We've had 2 miniature kits produced, and people have thought this is amazing, and they thought this is amazing so much that they have decided to go out and invest their time in one, which is
Mm,
and their hard-earned cash, their ill-gotten
mhm.
gains.
Yeah,
So
yeah, very cool. It's great to see what people are doing with them. They all look
yeah,
different, and I think it's great to see the conversions that people have done with them as well.
yeah,
So, I mean, the one holding the last cannon, I would have never have suspected like could be turned into an Armistice, but there
no,
you are, proven wrong.
yeah. There's some really, really good stuff here as well. So
Yeah.
yeah. Look,
I
if you
think,
would, yeah,
I think I
absolutely.
was just going to say that if you are a fan of Wolf's work as well, and you like invest in a unit of Terminators or whatever,
Yeah,
like these models will just fit in really nicely into that squad. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's good.
Right, we're going to stop blowing too much smoke up our own arse and just get on with it.
Oh,
Okay, we're going to move, I believe, into the controversial topic now. So I think we're now
This is
moving into
the bad.
the bad.
Interesting.
So we're starting. So I think, in retrospect, this is a potentially controversial choice for me because I don't think this book was actually all that bad. I think when Rob and I did the review of kind of the content of the book per se, we both started off with a preconception that it was trash and it had loads of problems. And don't get me wrong, I think it does have some issues with regards to the big elephant in the room of a Martian Civil War book with no Martians in it. It's geared
Yes.
around the Mechanicum and there's no new Mechanicum for it. And they recycled content that they'd previously given you for free in a PDF and
Hmm.
then repackaged it and asked you to pay for it.
Hmm.
I get that. But I do think it did have there were some positives to be drawn from it as well. The new Apex missions I thought were really good.
Hmm.
Um, and
I was a fan of the Heretic kind of Techno Arcanas.
yeah,
Yeah, it's funny. I agree with you. When I first saw this, I was like, "What the fuck?" And then going through it, I have uh I'm a fan of it, but I still think I wouldn't put it in the bad, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, yeah. Well, if it's
In
not, we only got three tiers, so it's like if it's
Yeah,
not good, then
yeah,
it's got to go in the bad, unfortunately. So
yeah, it's I just feel like it would have taken a little bit more effort for it to be in the good. Like give us some new mech characters. You know what I mean?
Penny,
It's a book about the Martian Civil War.
yeah,
Give us some
give us Arkan Land,
yeah, there's some major
yeah,
players
give
there
us
that have
Cowboy
no
Hal.
rules. So yeah, I feel like it wouldn't have been that hard for them to actually get people to fall in love with this book, but all the characters we got were more fucking Imperial Fist characters. And no one needs more Imperial Fist characters. Quite literally, no one.
Yeah,
Even Imperial Fist players are sick of themselves.
it's true. Rob,
You play Imperial Fist. Are you sick of
yeah,
yourself?
so I think that the yeah, I'm sick of myself. Yes, yeah, yeah. So I think the first thing I would say is I think we were missold.
yeah,
Um,
and that's
and
fair.
I think that Warhammer Community does a lot of mis-selling with Horus
Yeah.
Heresy. And I think
Can I
that
just interject there? I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
think that's just heresy. I think that's just in general. There seems to be a complete lack of communication of the different departments and the Warhammer community. They seem to put articles up having no idea what they're talking about,
yeah,
not
yeah,
realizing that actually that's the first sale point for most things. So if you put
yeah,
up bullshit, people are going to believe your bullshit.
yeah, yeah.
Do you
But
think they
yeah,
use
sorry.
AI to write some of the articles?
I
Fuck
don't
knows. Fuck
I don't
knows.
think they're that good, are
No, fair enough.
they?
Um, I think that the success of this book depends on what you're in the books into books for. So if you are just like an absolute heretic and you love the Martian lore
Yeah.
and you that gives you a real hard on, then like this book would have been good because you could sit for hours literally reading this book and get through the lore. If you were somebody who wanted yeah, I think that it was probably a shock for most people that this was jam-packed full of three uh Legion characters and absolutely zero Mechanicum characters. That feels like a complete swing and a miss. The other problem I had, so I quite like the Heretic rules that we did like a deep dive on, Lee, but the
Yeah.
problem I think that you've always got with it, like new books like this and whether people perceive it as a success is from this book, would people change their army lists or would people do things differently? I think that, say, for example, in terms of warlord traits, the logic of victory is just so obviously good that mech players will always tend to take it. I didn't feel like this book particularly shook up the mech meta, and like if you got a real thing for Myrmidons, you're still going to take the
Myrmidax.
the Myrmidax from
Yeah.
like 2 years ago.
I think some of the Techno Arcanas are definitely very good, and I think we will see them next year. Um, but you are 100% correct. If you don't play Traitor Mechanicum, there is literally nothing in this book for you.
Yeah, and I
Like
think that
literally nothing.
yeah, and I think
Like,
that that say with like Siege of Cathonia, that I think that there was a small meta shift with Siege of Cathonia. You know, if you look at the Decurions that were available for every legion,
yeah.
and you look at like for Sons of Horus players, you know, the introduction of Veren Ashuradan, he's a very, very good character that you can build an army around. The swing and the miss for me was that you had no characters that you could then build your new army around, which always allows meta shifts, but also quite exciting ways to build armies. And as John said, these things were recycled, weren't they? I mean, I've got no problem with
Yeah,
recycling,
yeah.
but if you're recycling stuff, also add some
Add
extra
new
new stuff
stuff.
in,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because I think that
And
I think there's perception that it
I
could be
guess
seen as lazy.
the only thing I'd say about some of the techno arcanas that I would want to take is they rely on you taking like decimators and blood
You mean,
slaughterers
yeah, like really expensive resin
and
kits that we've
people
just been
just
saying they're just
yeah,
shit. Like,
or they're
yeah,
just not available. So
yeah,
they need to either release a new updated plastic decimator slash blood slaughterer model or make them. I don't even know if they're available. I haven't even looked on the website because I imagine they're about £10,000 each. But
Mhm.
yeah, again, they're obviously trying to make stuff accessible because they're making things in plastic. They want to undercut
The
the
recasters. So,
the recasters, yeah,
yeah,
like which makes sense, like that totally makes sense. But then you keep producing rules which force you to go to recasters because half this stuff isn't available on the website. And then people are like, well, that's a cool army. I want to play that. But actually, I physically can't buy that product
yeah,
off your website. Well, what am I going to do? They're just going to go straight to the recasters
yeah,
again.
Or
or
they'll
3D
print
or
it.
3D print it. Yeah,
Or
Yeah.
yeah,
3D
that's
print,
fine.
sorry. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, you know what I mean? It's just a bit fucking dumb, really.
One of the things that just as we were quipping about Imperial Fists as well. So the Cambodius is a really good example for me of um an awesome character.
Yep.
Um, but because you have a plethora of characters, loads of Imperial Fist characters, and really Sigismund, because you're always going to compare whatever you take to Sigismund, people are going to look at it and go, "Is this really worth taking in my army? And is it worth making my warlord?" I think that one of the things I would say about Cambodiers, for example, is that he's got quite a cool warlord trait. I think he makes things fearless on an objective, and he can choose to switch it on a particular objective. But if that was removed from his warlord trait and just moved to like his rules, people I think would be much more inclined to take it because you've always got that thing of, well, I want Sigismund to be the warlord because he gives me extra VPs in close combat or whatever. And I think that's I think one of the problems with having so many awesome characters that you want to lead your army with is that if these are all the awesome rules of warlord traits and warlord traits only, you're always going to gravitate towards the best character. I know people won't like to hear that with a narrative game, but basically it's true. Like
Yeah.
if you said to people, "Oh, you could take Sigismund or you could take Cambodius," like 9 times out of 10, people will be like, "Well, obviously I'm going to take Sigismund."
I just think as well, if there are some really interesting the mech don't have a lot of special characters, especially if you're loyalist. You know, we've got Scoria and that other chud in his pram. What's his name? Dracovac.
Yeah.
For if you're playing Dark Mechanicum or Traitor Mechanicum. We've got some really interesting loyalist Mechanicum characters. And if they can't appear in a book that is in
Yeah.
theory themed entirely around Mechanicum, where the hell
Yeah.
can they appear? Like
Yeah.
when
Yes.
at what point are
Yeah.
we going to see an Arcanland or a Kelbor Howl? Like where where are they going to end up?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Just
I agree. Yeah, it's interesting,
ridiculous.
isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, well, this is the first of the bads. Let's continue with bad. Heresy Thursday. I got a lot of hate online for my opinions on this. So I'm
Yeah, it's
going to
interesting
let
this.
you guys dig your own grave before I jump in on top of you. So why don't you talk to me, Lee, about Heresy Thursday?
Well, I mean, essentially, Heresy Thursday was just Legions Imperialis Thursday for about 2 months, wasn't it? Which is
Yeah.
fair enough, but I think the trouble is, again, it's this kind of slight miscommunication. If you come out and say we're bringing back Heresy Thursday, most people will presume you mean 28 mm Age of Darkness, the Horus Heresy. I feel like you need to be quite specific because I think the trouble was it people got pissed off. And I was kind of happy for Legions Imperialis players. It's like, cool, they're getting some love. Like they've had the main release and they've had a few bits dripped out, but now they're getting a whole new army and stuff. But then you get this whole kind of thing of people are like, oh fuck those tiny little 8mm cunts. Fucking get in the bin. And it's like, well, actually, if they'd have just said from the start, we've got lots of Horus Heresy, Legions Imperialis stuff coming, people wouldn't have got their kind of hopes up about, because as soon as they say Heresy Thursday is coming back, people are like, oh, what we're going to get, what we're going to get, we're going to get this, we're going to get that.
Yeah.
Invariably, people fucking lose their minds, and we're going to get plastic Thunderhawks and plastic Titans and plastic fucking. They're going to just give away Mastodons every time you walk into Games Workshop.
Yeah.
But I just think, I mean, Games Workshop has always been pretty terrible at communication. They've gotten better, but I think that's more of a communication thing. I do think if people had realized that it was Legions Imperialis that was coming, they'd have been less upset. And then the heraldry thing, I find that quite interesting actually, because we were a bit like, this is shit, but there was quite a lot of people out there that actually enjoyed it. And I mean, if you enjoy the content, you enjoy the content.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's just a thing of like people presume something's coming, and then you get some pictures of some solo auxiliary dudes, and it's great, but like cool pictures. I don't know. It wasn't floating my boat.
I was roundly pilloried because I thought, and I think we had become accustomed to Heresy Thursday when it was in its prime for being a preview of a new
That
kit.
is the problem, John. That therein lays the problem, because the Heresy Thursday was so good because it was week after week after new model, and when you say to people, Heresy Thursday is coming back, people have an expectation that it's going to be that, and then when you're then hit with week 2 Heraldry of Honor, you'll be like, oh, this is not quite as exciting as I thought it was going to be. So people's reactions are linked to disappointment because it didn't meet their expectations of what Heresy Thursday is going to be. That, I think, that was the issue.
Yeah.
And it is because they didn't say, for example, because of course you're not going to say Heresy Thursday is going to look a little bit different. We're going to have articles linked with the Age of Darkness. This includes Legions Imperialis and Horus Heresy. Not every single one will be showing. Sometimes it will be things like heraldry or some extra lore, but this is what to expect. But because they don't do that, because they are entirely built around hype, because that's the model that they always use. People then what they're not good at is as managing disappointment.
Which is fine. If you're going to hype things up, that's fine. But you need to hype things up and then produce things that people can get hyped about. You can't hype stuff up and then be like, here's a shit picture of a solo auxiliary dude. Like, because, some people will love that. I mean, I look at the artwork and then I compare it to what we used to get in the black books, 10 years ago, and I'm like, well, that's nowhere near as good a quality as even just the pictures aren't as good a quality as what we used to get. But some people enjoyed it, which, fair enough. If you enjoyed it, you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I just think, again, it just comes back to me personally, it comes back to communications. If they'd said from the start, we're going to bring back Heresy Thursday, it might not look like it was before, because we can't keep fucking releasing new models every week. We're going to have like some stuff about the lore and pictures and this and that. Yeah, like you say,
manage expectations. That's all they need to do. And actually, I think they'd be in a much more successful place if they manage people's expectations.
But then here we are, like thirsty nerds, still sucking it all up. So
well, it creates
who's wrong.
It creates debate and discourse as well, I suppose, doesn't it? Because and as Rob says, you being slightly controversial at times, unfortunately, does provoke responses from both sides, and therefore you get interesting debate and discourse, and it keeps things more relevant for ages. Like, it's a real dichotomy. I just think, from a personal standpoint, I feel like the re-release of Heresy Thursday was a bit of a honey dicking. But actually, in the last few weeks, we have had great model after great model after, and we kind of feel like we're back into the groove. But
I don't even I won't be buying that Space Wars Rune Priest, but I still think it looked great, and it was really cool. And I can be happy for Space Wars players that they've got something
finally.
But it was interesting. I think, and one that we haven't discussed was the big, I want to say Nova reveal, but I don't know if it's Nova. There's so many American GTs.
Are you talking
like
about
that.
the roadmap, Rob?
No, there was one after there where they revealed the Malcador Infernus and the
Yeah,
Doridigo
okay.
That
in
was the
plastic, right?
World
Yeah, yeah.
Championships of Warhammer.
Right, the World Championship. It seems like there's a World Championship every week, but I'm
Yeah.
not really abreast of the 40K scene. So, with that, that's such a good example where they did not manage expectations well, because those things I think could have been quite good Heresy Thursdays. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
each one of those being like,
Yeah.
oh, we've got the Malcador Infernus coming, and yeah, but it's a victim of lots of this stuff. Well, all of this stuff we've seen before. The problem is it's not new stuff. Yeah, which actually I think leads us nicely to our next slide. I think.
You might well be right, Robert. So I
Speaking of
think,
not new stuff, yeah,
yeah, I thought this was wild of Kerry to put this in bad.
I know why he's done it though.
I know why he's done it,
Yeah.
but I looked at this initially and I was like, what?
Yeah,
Are you high? So the reasoning that Kerry's put
Put
this
the
in.
crack pipe down, Gary.
Yeah, exactly. Sick of telling him that as well, honestly.
Fucking hell.
It's like a broken record now. So there were only 2 plastic Astartes releases all year. Both of them were upgrade kits. Brackets, but both were great kits.
yeah, that's it. Isn't it?
Discuss.
Yeah, it's wild to me that we have in 12 months we have only got 2 plastic Astartes releases, and the resin characters have kind of masked that, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the loads of all the mech plastic has kind of masked the fact that the Astartes has only got 2, which is like is fine, but it's also when you look back at it, you're like, whoa, that's crazy. I yeah, I thought these 2 kits were great. The melee kit, like talk about expectation management. They what I was expecting like 20 weapons in a box
if
for
that,
18 quid, like
Yeah.
126 like bits in a box, including heads and arms, and yeah, it was way better than what I thought. And I think the command squad sprue is
Yeah.
pretty decent. It's not amazing, but it's but the banners in them, wow, they are having those in plastic now, top notch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The melee weapons upgrade kit was a weird one. We talk about expectation because we had been told it's been coming for ages, and it was this kind of constant, almost becoming a bit of a meme.
It was totally becoming a meme. Yeah, 100%.
And then it was so. I think everyone was so ready for it to release, and it would be 10 chainswords and 10 bolt pistols in
100%.
resin, and it was going to cost
100%.
£24, and people were going to lose their absolute shit. And what we
100%.
got was this unreal. I mean, people still found cause to moan, and honestly, guys,
No,
just
this is amazing. This in plastic, like
Yeah.
like it's so good. Like so good. You know,
Do you think we've become a little bit spoiled at this point?
yes. Looking back now, I think retrospectively, for some of my behaviour this year when it's come to new releases, I do think to myself, "Wow, I have become very entitled." And
I don't think it's spoiled though. I think the problem with the Horus Heresy, and I think I've thought this for 2 years now, is that it's you can't have something that's been released already for 10 years, and yes, it was been resin, and then get people as excited as if it's a brand new release.
Correct.
Like, that's the problem.
Yeah.
So you can be like, great, that Doradio's in plastic, but my level of excitement is not going to be as such as if it were like a Lucifer pattern dreadnought or something, because
Or
it's
Kratos.
not new, or a Kratos, right? And I think the problem is it's brilliant that it's all in plastic, but also people will not be as excited because we've had it for 10 years, and that's
agreed.
fine for new people, and lots of people are not going to replace their plastic radios that they already have. And I think that's always been one of the issues with the Horus Heresy and all these new plastics. It's brilliant, it's great, that's fine. New armies, great, absolutely brilliant, but you're not going to be as excited as if you know, I don't know, Plastic Rebute Gilliman has the first Primarch in 25 years or 40 years of of Games Workshop. Yeah, it's never going to be as impactful. So seeing these brand new kits are always like really exciting, I think, because they just didn't exist previously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. So anyway, we're hopeful that if there's a new edition dropping next year, that we're going to see some new plastics, not just new plastics, but new plastics. Yeah.
Oh yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, 100%.
I think that's it for the bad. Now I believe we're moving straight into the ugly.
Yeah, man,
So
all
we're
right.
starting off with the roadmap. And again, this is
This wasn't
another
just Horus
classic
Heresy though, was
example
it? It
of
was
just being like shooting themselves in the foot.
So if
yeah,
this was an actual map, it would be like a single crayon line, like just on a piece of blank paper. That
yeah,
would be
yeah,
it. Like, get yourself to this place. Here's your map. Like,
yeah.
just
Really
a
So
cool.
crayon
Yeah,
drawn line.
again, the difficulty, and I think Kerry and I discussed on the show that we did, was we had a heresy roadmap previously,
yeah,
a
yeah.
roadmap in quotation marks, but it had essentially the heresy release schedule. We're releasing
Brilliant.
this
Love
thing,
that.
then this thing, then this thing, and it was vague
Love it.
enough to give them some flexibility because obviously
Yep,
we know that
yep, yep.
there will always be production delays or capacity delays or distribution delays, or actually, do you know what, something's happened and we need to just move things around in the schedule a little bit. But it was pretty structured as to roughly at these times of year, this
Yep.
is what you're going to get,
It
this is
was
going to be
brilliant.
the order,
Yep.
these are specific things that are coming, and this is some sort of teaser, kind of like, oh, could it be this, could it be
You
this?
you know why I thought that was great, and I'm sure we
Yeah,
discussed this before, but when you have like new super heavy, and I think it said knights actually, I think on the
yeah,
roadmap it said
Yeah.
knights, like you can plan your projects and your year according. Now, I don't know for you guys, but as I get older, years go quicker. So it's good to get
yeah.
like plan like 6 months ahead and go, these are going to drop then, and this is the project that I'm going to work on from this point onwards. And actually being an adult, having your life organized is actually quite useful, but they totally threw that out the window for this. And like I'm convinced that like the Heresy team probably said, look, this is what we used last year, this worked well and it was well received, maybe we should all use this. And like the other teams were like, no way, we're not using that, that's just like way too specific or whatever. Because all of the Age of Sigmar and 40k and Heresy ended up looking like this, right?
Yeah, they
Like
were all the
Yeah.
same.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't care. Okay, this is where I am prepared to stick my neck out on the line. I think, like I said, when we talked about the heraldry side of things when it came to Heresy Thursday, and I was roundly and I think quite justifiably pilloried for being a bit of a spoiled brat. But I don't give a fuck how big of a GW shield you are, how much you just think that they can do absolutely no wrong.
yeah.
Like, this is dog shit. And if you
This
don't
yeah,
think that
this
this
is
is
poor form,
anything other
poor
than
form.
a total waste of everyone's time and a complete and utter misselling of a concept or something that we were promised, then there is no way back for you. You are completely and utterly, you're like a, you're in a cult. You have been indoctrinated
Yes.
into a cult, and you need to get help to get out of it because this was absolutely terrible. Objectively, this was not what we were told we were getting. It's
No,
not what
No.
we had
no.
previously. It brought
And
no relevance to anything that we were promised. It is an absolute travesty, and I cannot believe how disappointed I was when we saw this because the roadmap of 2024, you don't go backwards, you don't
No.
bang it into reverse, do you? A
No.
roadmap is, and when in this context, and context is
Yes.
obviously very important, it's supposed to be this is
A look
our
ahead, isn't it?
plan, even if it's
Yeah.
a framework of a plan. And we most normal people will understand that there will need to be certain degrees of flexibility built into any, especially anyone who's ever been involved in business. You will have typically a strategic plan, and you will have steps in order how you would ideally like to, given factors being how they are at the time, get to that point. But you understand that it has to be certain. There are certain challenges that exist in flexibility. But just going so far to basically telling us what we've already, you should be grateful for Solar Auxilia alongside a host of new miniatures, and Legionis continues to go from strength to strength, and then just go tanks.
Yeah.
2025 tanks. What the fuck does that mean? What are you doing?
Yeah.
I'd rather they
This
told us
this
nothing than
was
told us this.
the other I think problem with this was that it completely and utterly overshadowed the very worthwhile discussion that
Yep.
the Warhammer community team had with Andy Hoare, which
Correct.
actually, if you
yeah,
listen to
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
interview,
Yes.
it was
Exactly
of
that.
value. It was interesting. He gave
Insightful.
insightful. He gave real sneak peeks. If they had actually just kind of like labeled
Put
it
that out.
a chat with the a chat with the
Yeah.
design team or whatever, I don't know, a chat with the studios, um, that would have been well more received. But the problem is, this completely overshadowed any good they did with that conversation. I mean, I think it's probably just worth us actually just reading this, like, but knowing what we know now. So we'll ignore the so far bit because obviously, yeah, that's that we've already had about. It says still to come. Mechanicum continue to deploy across the battlefields of Horus Heresy. Okay. Other factions lurk, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Like, oh my
What the
God.
fuck
What's that
is
even
that?
mean?
That
Like,
doesn't even
it might as well say
literally
stuff
nothing.
is coming. It literally might as well say that and beyond. Even more to come in 2025. Horus Heresy. So we got so next on the roadmap is just the Horus Heresy logo. It's just literally a logo. It's not anything of value. And then we've got above that the Imperialis logo. Again, nothing. And then the word more. And then we've got some pictures of some existing tanks with the tanks in caps, and then something new every month, and then 2025. Like if you break it down into those steps, it is ridiculous.
Literally tells you fucking
Nothing.
It tells you
nothing.
nothing. It tells you almost
Nothing.
less than nothing.
I
Because
was
it
actually more
ambiguous.
confused with this
Yeah.
because I was like, oh, okay, so are tanks going to be coming? Is there one tank every month?
Every
Can we
month.
expect 12 tanks?
Yep.
Or are they just saying something is coming and also some of those things are going to be saying? I'm actually was more confused by this.
Also, Rob, Lee, question for you. Which other factions have struck within the last 4 months, 5 months since this was released?
Oh my God, not none.
None,
It's just
correct.
Mech, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. Yeah. This is poor form, I think.
This
Yeah.
was atrocious. This was absolutely horrendous. Anyway, yeah, apologies for my diatribe there, but I think I am right. If you think this is good, you need help.
Yeah, the 40k one was a little bit better because it was quite clear. It was like
Well, it had
Kree,
things. It's like,
Eldar,
yeah,
and Knights.
this is where it's going to be.
Three things
Yeah,
are going to be here.
we're going to do this,
Thing
then
is-
we're going to do this, then we're going to do this. That's all we needed.
Again, it goes back to managing expectations, like Rob said. Like our last roadmap was fucking brilliant. And then they're like, roadmap's coming out. And you think, oh, sweet, it's going to look like the last one. And then you just get this. It's like,
Lunacy.
this isn't a roadmap. This is just things are coming.
It might as well have
Good.
said that in Crayon, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah.
I feel like the person who was made to put this together is just putting it together going, oh, fucking hell. This is
You can't help but feel, are you sure you want to release this? Is this definitely what you want to do, guys?
Are we not giving them any more? Like, no? Okay. What's coming? Warhammer the Horus Heresy. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh,
Any more uglies? Any more uglies? Or is
I
that,
think
is
we've
that
got
everything?
one more ugly.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
This is
yeah.
ugly, isn't it?
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, this
Hey
isn't
guys,
just...
want to buy some models? Tough shit.
It's funny, like I was thinking this morning, it's interesting to me.
Did it
that,
hurt?
yeah, I was sitting down. These guys have now moved. I think they've moved into the FTSE 100 now, right? So
Yeah,
they're
have they
basically.
broken the
I don't know
Yeah.
much about finance, but I know that that's quite a pretty big deal for a company.
It's a huge
Yeah,
deal. It's an
yeah.
absolute
for,
enormous
for,
deal.
for a
Yeah.
toy company, right?
Yeah.
And you do wonder whether the shareholders know that like half their stuff is out of stock, so they could be making more money, but they can't because lots of this stuff is out of stock.
Yeah.
And I assume because like the White Scar Stormseer console, it's not like they're getting rid of that. That's around to stay for some time. It's just that it's out of
Brand new.
stock. They don't have the production capacity, presumably, to do it.
So
yeah.
I think this was like, I am no expert on what has happened, but obviously they can't keep up with production. I
Yeah.
believe they were meant to buy a fucking wood factory or some shit near where they are in Nottingham. And pre-COVID, it was all going ahead, and then COVID kicked off, and then building materials went through the roof, and then this company that was going to close down actually is now making a massive profit because, you know, reasons.
Oh, I see. Right.
Building
Okay,
prices
interesting.
went through the roof.
That
So
capitalist timber agenda.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think they had plans and then it didn't work, and then they're now trying to build places and buy places. But again, to me, this just comes back to communication. People would like 1,000 times more appreciate it if you put a Warhammer community article out saying, look, we know that our stocks are low. We're struggling to keep up with production. We are looking to build new warehouses, but it's going to take time. You know, they're just, but this is Games Workshop, isn't it? They've always been like this. Like, they just won't tell us anything.
I think the difficulty is though, once you get to the status of company where you are are part of the FTSE 100, it doesn't look very good to your shareholders if you're constantly releasing communications saying, sorry, we're not doing this very well. Sorry, we're not doing that very well. It undermines investor confidence. All they
No, I get that, but like the alternative is again, this is literally, oh, I can't buy it. Oh, well, I'll go to this recaster or I'll
You
go to
drive
this
people
3D
towards the 3D
printer.
printer or the
Like
recast.
Yeah.
if they turn around and said, look, hopefully we'll have production back up in 6 months or whatever, people will wait. Some people will wait, some people won't because they're like, fuck you, I'm going to spend my money elsewhere.
Hmm.
But if you have no idea when these things are going to come back in production, and I mean, it's not just Heresy, is it? It's all the game systems.
Yeah. Yes, it's not
If
exclusive
you're,
to Heresy.
you know what I mean? If you're thinking like, well, I really want to start that army, but that stuff's not available, but there's this company that makes this product that's just like that. Well, fuck it, I'll go buy that because when is it going to come back? And then also you're just playing into the hands of scalpers as well.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm,
it's just
good
all
point.
one big thing, and all it does is ever so slightly pisses off your customer base because they're like, oh, fucking hell, I couldn't buy that. This dickhead's selling it for 200 quid on eBay. This 3D printer is doing it, or this recaster's doing it. Fuck it, I'll go to them. I don't
Yeah.
want to, but fuck you. Like, so yeah, I just
Mm.
think it's just bad form, really, isn't it? But I do
Bad
think
form.
there are factors that were possibly outside of their control, but at the end of the day, when you're a FTSE 100 business, like grow the fuck up and produce some goods.
Yeah. Invest
You know
some
what I mean?
money in
Like,
production capacity. I'm
like
sure, yeah, it's not that simple. We totally appreciate that. But at the same time, what is quite simple is communicating with your customer base.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
just you can put whatever spin on it that you probably want. I mean, you can even jazz it up a little bit with some references to, production capacity being lost to the warp. Anything, but rather
yeah,
than
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah,
stuff just constantly coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. And a lot of the
yeah,
time, Andrew Hard's a classic example. I tried to buy him 3 times and then I just gave up
Right.
because he was out of stock. And then you'd hit the note, you'd notify me when he's back in stock, and then he'd be back in stock, and you'd go
And
to
it's
buy him, and
gone.
he'd be out of
And it's
stock again.
gone.
And then you'd wait
Yeah.
11 weeks, and all of a sudden he'd pop into stock at 4 o'clock on a Wednesday morning. And by the time that you opened your emails at 7:30, he was gone again because they'd had like half a dozen maybe that they knocked out overnight.
Well,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
honestly believe this is what has absolutely scuppered Legions Imperialis. Like their release was so bad. I mean, they had the whole fuck up
Yeah.
of it was due to be released and then it wasn't.
And all
And
the
then you
books
just
got
couldn't buy
pulped like
anything.
Alan
Yeah.
Yeah.
Partridge's autobiography.
Like,
Yeah.
but but then you just couldn't buy anything. And people are like, I want to get into this game. You've just released it, but I literally can't buy anything. Like
Hmm.
this is insane. Um, so yeah, I mean, at that point, it is literally having an impact on what you're trying to do in releasing a new game. You know, it's always, well, I mean, I don't know, but I imagine it's always a bit of a risk when you're releasing a brand new game. You know, are we going to make our profit? Are we going to make our money back? And then you don't actually make anything available.
Yeah.
Well, no, you're not going to make a profit because no one can fucking buy it. Like it's such a weird place to be in, isn't it? It's like I want you to take my money, but you're
Yeah.
not letting me take my money.
And
Like
that's what I mean
what
about
the fuck?
like if shareholder. I do wonder sometimes whether shareholders, if they knew actually like loads of their because they must make money hand over fist with resin stuff. Like it must be so dirt cheap to make a resin model and then sell it for like £40 for
Yeah,
each one.
yeah.
You do wonder whether shareholders be like, what, like, what, what's going on here? But I don't know enough about it. Do you think that they work like 24/7, as in like they have shifts, so they have like a night shift and a day
I would be
shift?
astounded if they didn't.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
I
interesting.
doubt I doubt they
Absolutely
do that.
astounded if they didn't.
No, okay,
I doubt
interesting.
they do.
Interesting. Because
But yeah,
they talk about production capacity, but if you just had it rotated like a alpha shift and a beta shift, would that
just
sort the problem out?
turn it into some horrific Forge World
Yeah,
like
absolutely. Lobotomize your
24-hour
staff, turn them into
days.
People need their
minus
Yeah.
resin, right? People need
minus
their
tech
resin.
Whenever
criminals.
someone
Just
drops dead at the production line, they just get turned into pulp and fed to all the other workers.
Becomes the resin models that we all paint. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. This was not good. Not good.
no, this is horrendous.
And is an ongoing problem. Like
Yeah,
it's
I would
still
say if
a
anything,
thing.
it's getting worse.
Yeah.
But there we go. Maybe we'll see something. Right, everyone, it's now time for the thing you've all been waiting for. The main event. It's the quiz.
Oh,
It's the quiz. So,
we
grab
allowed to use
yourself
phones.
a pen and piece of paper. Put your fucking phone away. Oh, we're going old fashioned. So, yeah, there are 10 questions.
Okay.
We're playing for the Horus Lupercal Memorial Shield.
Okay, yeah,
The
cool.
first winner, and also bragging rights and personal pride. So I'd encourage anyone who fancies play along at home, and you can post into the comments what score you got and see if you can beat either Rob or Lee.
Ooh, okay, cool. All right.
Okay, so first question. Okay, also as well, as a precursor to this, it's just for fun. If we get something wrong, I don't care. Like, don't message me. Like, don't DM me. I do not care. It's just for fun. It's Christmas, and we all need a bit of cheering up after having gone through what we've just gone through.
Definitely message him. Everyone message him.
Never do it. Okay, so according to Black Library, how many books are in the Siege of Terror? Oh, sorry, the Horus Heresy series prior to the Siege of Terror.
Oh my god.
So don't answer me. Write down your answers. We're going to go for the answer at the end.
Okay, I'm gonna write it down.
Christ.
It must be like just an addendum to this. It must be the biggest single sci-fi series, ever written. I would imagine.
Oh, it's huge.
It's got to be
Absolutely
I don't know,
enormous.
Star Wars is quite extensive, isn't it?
the like all the books. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
By the way, it's closest. It's closest to the pin gets the point, so you haven't got to be exact. You get a bonus point if you're exact, but I'm just looking for closest. So, question two.
We'll go through them at the end, right?
We'll go through them at the end.
Okay, cool.
How many additional hours of Tactica content have we released over on the Patreon?
Oh my god, for 2024? Or for
No,
all of it?
all time.
How many hours? Oh my god.
Okay,
You should
go on,
know,
answer.
Rob. You're on all of them.
All of them.
Yeah, I was about to say you should know.
Some of them are like half hour, but then some are like 2 hours long. So it's
I know, it's
difficult.
crazy.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Go for an average.
What is the name of the 6th original Horus Heresy Black Book? Horus Heresy Book 6.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't Lee, turn around, you
I
slug.
think I know this one. I think I know this.
You've got literally just no shame.
What is
have you,
this?
I
Stop
can't
looking at
even
it.
read it.
No, well, you can't read. That's the
Lee?
problem.
Yeah, exactly. Not sure why you've got books. Okay, we've got here a maths question, and I want to see your workings out to
I
get to
can do
this.
that. I can do that.
So,
There's a reason I don't teach my 9-year-old maths and my missus does it. There's a reason. So,
well, perhaps you should go and ask him.
Four
So,
out of 5.
take the number of books in the Siege of Terror book series.
Okay,
oh
yeah.
God.
Is
Add
that
it
including
to-
novellas? Is that including novellas?
If you were to visit Black Library, how many books are there in? If you were to have purchased all the limited editions,
Okay, right. Okay.
how
yeah.
many books are there in the series?
Okay.
Add it to the number of loyalist Primarchs present on Terra during the siege before Horus was defeated.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
See, this would be useful to know how to read, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So you'd know how many Primarchs there
Yeah.
will be.
Times that number by the number of times Sanguinius fought Cabanda,
Okay. Yeah.
and then I want you to divide that
Sorry,
number.
what was that? Times that.
Times it,
Times
yeah.
it, yeah.
And I want you to divide that number by the number of campaign books released for second edition Age of Darkness.
Okay.
Oh, fuck me.
Well, it's not. Okay.
Okay? Everyone got an answer? Good.
I've got an answer. Yeah, I've got an
Okay.
answer.
Good.
It wasn't easily divisible by the number that I was
Well,
thinking.
there-
So I've
Perhaps
clearly
at some
gone wrong.
point
Clearly
someone's made a
gone wrong.
mistake. Okay, so what? Next question, Lee. Have you got an answer for me? Good. Right. Okay. Keep the answer.
Yeah.
What month and what year was the first episode of Heresy Hammer released?
Oh, what?
Fuck me.
There's 2 points available here.
Okay. I think I know. I think I know.
Okay.
Okay. Rightio. What was the release date of the second edition of Warhammer: The Horus Heresy?
Ah.
And again, closest to the pin gets the answer. Okay, got an answer?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just making sure. I think Rob's computer might have crashed again. Either that or he's taking a very long
Fucking hell,
time.
he
He's
is
remaining very
shit, isn't
static.
A few moments later.
Which question did you last hear, Rob, by the way?
So I got to the 5th question. I'm on question 6 now.
So what was the release date of second edition Warhammer the Horus Heresy?
Oh no, I haven't heard that one. No.
Okay, so Rob, what was the release date
Oh my
of the
God.
second edition of Warhammer the Horus Heresy?
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, I think I know, but maybe not.
Okay. Right. So this is a slightly different topic. This is a who am I? I'm going to give you 5 clues.
Okay.
They're going to get progressively easier. If you think you know who, it's basically, it's a who am I? Which character within the Heresy universe am I talking about? When you think you know the answer, I want you to shout out your name. So, if you get it on the first clue, you get 5 points. The second clue, 4 points. Third
Okay.
clue, yep, okay. But
So it's the fastest finger first, is it?
correct. But if you get it
Fastest
wrong,
finger, eh?
If I get it wrong, I get docked points.
get it wrong,
don't I?
you're frozen out. So if you try and guess on the first one, you get it wrong. That's it. No more guesses for you, and it passes to the person.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Right. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
So
All right.
first clue: I was born on Cathonia.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
Second clue: I was present on Istvan 3.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Third clue: I was a captain of the 16th Legion.
Okay. Oh god, that could be like 4 different characters, couldn't it? Yeah.
I was a member of the Mournival.
Ah, fuck. Okay.
Abaddon.
Is that right? Did you get it?
Not late. It's not correct, unfortunately. Would you like to take a hazard a guess now, Rob, or would you like to
Yeah.
save it? Okay.
I'm gonna hazard a guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Tarek Tormageddon. Tarek. Ah,
Unfortunately, you're both wrong, and neither of you get any points. For that.
oh, who was it?
The last clue was I cast off my new Legion colours and assumed the role of
God, we should have
Knight
waited.
Errant.
We should have waited. It would have been.
Should have waited. There you go. Never mind. That's the game. Okay, 3 questions left.
Yeah.
Okay, as of now, how many members are there on the Heresy Hammer WhatsApp community? And
Oh
again,
god.
closest wins.
Okay.
I don't know. Christ.
Yeah.
How many
okay.
members?
How many members?
yes. Don't look at your phone.
Don't
I
look
know
at your
what you're doing.
phone, Lee.
I'm fucking not looking at my phone.
It's so untrustworthy. You've got such an untrustworthy face, Lee.
The thing is, I'd have
Okay.
to log into it. So,
Yeah.
Fuck that noise.
2
oh,
questions
God.
remaining. According to Warhammer.com, how many products fall under the category of Warhammer the Horus Heresy?
Are they in stock or not in stock?
Just give me
Oh.
the answer.
Just
I want the
many
total
products?
number of Horus Heresy related items available on Warhammer.com.
okay. All right.
Ah,
I got it. I
okay.
think I've got it.
And the final
Another
question,
clue.
and out of those kits, how many are currently out of stock?
Oh my god.
Again, closest wins.
Okay. So how many are out of stock?
Okay, right. Let's go through the answers. So, the first question.
God.
According to Black Library, how many books are in the Horus Heresy series prior to the Siege of Terror? Lee, what's your answer?
Got 78.
Rob,
I said 62.
the answer is 54.
Ah.
1 point
That's
for
a
me.
point to Rob there.
Yeah, boy.
Okay, question 2. How many hours of additional content have we released over on the Patreon for Heresy Tacticas? Rob,
I'm going to say 71 hours.
Lee,
1 hours.
Yeah, 71.
Oh, I got 150.
the answer is 52.
Yeah. We need to work harder, but I'll take the
Yeah.
point. Thanks very much.
Take the point.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I was like, I would have, because some of them are like 30 minutes, but some of them are like an hour and a half long. And we've
Yeah,
done
exactly.
around
Yeah, some are 25 minutes and then
episodes.
some are an hour and 10. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Okay, so what is the name of the 6th original Heresy Black Book? Lee,
Retribution.
Rob?
Retribution.
Correct. 2 points.
you.
Well, a point to each of you.
Definitely didn't look at that.
Okay, right. It's the maths question. So, first things first, I'd like you to
yeah.
take the number of books in the Siege of Terror series, which is, Rob,
I said it was 13, but I might be
Lee?
wrong.
Oh, I got 8.
well, okay, well, this is going to be interesting because the answer is 11.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Add
Yeah.
it to the number of loyalist Primarchs present on Terra during the siege before Horus was defeated. There were how many?
I said 4.
There are 4.
Said-
Lee?
Yeah, 4. Yeah, I got 4.
Okay,
Okay.
so I'm on 14 now. This is why I went wrong. This is why I
Yeah,
couldn't divide
times that
my
by the
number.
number of times that Sigismund fought Cabanda. Lee?
2.
Yep. Rob?
I said 2 as well.
And then divide that by the number of campaign books released for Heresy 2nd edition.
So I said 3. There were 3 campaign books.
Lee?
Yeah, I got 3.
No, you piece of shit. So the answer I got was 10.3 recurring.
Yeah, well, the answer I was looking for was 10.
I got
so
6.
close.
So
I know
close.
exactly the
6.
reason why. Yeah, because
I'm not-
God damn it. That's something.
Not giving you any points for that.
So,
Okay. What month
Rubbish.
and what year was the first episode of Heresy Hammer released? Lee?
okay. Oh, gone.
Do I have to go first, do I?
Yep.
Yeah.
I got August 2022.
Rob?
So I think it's April 2022.
Rob is correct. It is April 2022.
Rob, it's such a cunt.
I know that because that was the same month that the Horus Heresy Weekender was.
Okay. So the next question was the Who Am I, which you both got wrong. So neither of you scored any points for that.
Oh, no,
if you're
the
playing
next
along
one-
at home and you got it on
The
the
Next
first
one
guess.
was when was 2nd edition released?
Second release, yeah. 6 was.
It was. I've just written down in the wrong order. What was the release date of the 2nd edition of Warhammer, the Horus Heresy? Closest wins.
I think it was July 2022.
I put June 2022.
Fuck. I wrote that first as well.
So the correct answer was the 18th of June 2022.
God
So
damn
I'm
it.
going to give
Oh, yes.
give that one to Lee there.
Bullshit.
Okay, so again, you still got no points to the Who Am I, so it's completely and utterly irrelevant where we put that in.
Big cards are over there.
As of now, how many members are there on the Heresy Hammer WhatsApp community? Rob,
I think it's
Oh, the
261.
Lee,
I completely misheard that question, so let me
No.
just quickly.
Don't say
think it-
262. Just to
I
be a
think
dick.
it's 326.
okay. The correct answer, as of recording today, is 388
Oh, whoa,
Right,
that's
points.
crazy.
to Lee. So as we
I'm
go
miles
into
away.
the last two questions, it's 5-4 to Rob. So there's a lot riding on these last two questions.
Yeah, boy.
So the penultimate question was, how many products fall under the Horus Heresy category on the Warhammer.com web
Oh,
store?
I don't
Rob?
have a clue.
I think it's 161.
Lee,
If you're not written it, you're supposed to write it down. You should just be
No.
able to say it straight away.
Yeah. I had a much bigger
Oh.
number than that.
what's your bigger number then?
How many
Well, I
did
had,
you...
I
Yeah?
had 400.
Okay. Well, there's going to be egg on my
What,
face
sorry?
if it is 400.
I had 400.
Okay, the correct answer, if you filter by Horus Heresy,
Yeah.
is 508.
Oh, fuck you, Rob. Yes.
Bullshit. It's a glitch in the matrix.
Because I was thinking fucking dice, books,
If you
like
filter
all
by
the other
Horus Heresy,
shit.
there
There's-
are
yeah.
508 products available. Now,
508.
here's the kicker, because at the moment, it is. I can't believe we've got to this point, and this is not rigged. It is tied on 5 points all. So it all comes down to this final one. So we'll have to
Bullshit.
closest to the pin wins, and that is all those Horus Heresy kits. How many are currently out of stock on the Warhammer.com website? Lee?
So I put 400 available,
Yep.
and I put 398 are currently out of stock.
Okay, but the problem is because I thought there were so few, so
Yeah.
my number's really low on this. So Lee actually might be closer than I am. So I said there are 70 out of stock. How many are out of
Okay.
stock?
The correct number that are out of stock are 312 kits.
This is bullshit. I started so strong as well. I started so strong.
Just
Lee's just
Hail-
guessing numbers, basically.
Mate, just this is this is a
straight off the
a
dome.
lesson
piece.
for life, mate. Just fucking blag it.
Jesus Christ.
Right.
That
Make
is
it
not,
till
how
you
many
make it.
how many are out of stock? What was the number?
312 kits are out of stock.
So that's more than
300
50%.
Yeah, 312 out of 508 Horus Heresy items are currently out of stock, are available.
That's lunacy. That's
What
mad.
do I
That's
win?
crazy, isn't it?
What do you
Well,
win? You get the Horus Heresy.
the Horus Heresy Memorial Shield, the inaugural winner is Lee.
This is, right. Well, we'll come back next year.
We will come back
We'll
next
come
year.
back next year.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I hope.
Rob's
hope-
fucking studying.
Yeah, hope you played along
I'll
at
be
home.
I'll
Don't
be
forget to-
googling. I'll be looking on the website before we start,
Yeah.
like finding out all the stats.
trying to preempt all the questions I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
So let us know how you got on in the comments. Also, please take the time to let us know your good, bad, and ugly from 2024. We will be really interested to hear, and I kind of like to do a bit of a follow-up show, maybe in the new year around the community show. Right, with that in mind, everyone, we shall say a big thank you to our final sponsors. The first one, Battle Bling. Already mentioned them earlier. If you want some bits to make some Ursaracs, go and see them. If you want some bits and pieces for your 8mm and 28mm conversions, go and see those guys too. If you want nameplates, head up and hit up the Battle Builder. And don't forget to use code Heresy Hammer for 10% off at checkout. Beowulf Miniatures Printing. If you need, if you've bought the Close Combat Weapon Screw box and it hasn't got enough of the combat weapon you need, where can you turn to? Potentially Beowulf. Go and hit those guys up. If you want to put some apothecaries together and you need some Northesiums, there you guys. All those bits and pieces. They've got a huge range of heads, pads, torsos and legs, plus loads of other accoutrements. So head over and tell them that you came from us. Sacrus Mundus. Again, as me and Lee discussed, if you want to build a life-sized Prosperan pyramid in your garden, then download the files from Sacrus Mundus available on Cult 3D, My Mini Factory, or Patreon, and print at home. Scale it up or down as you see fit, or contact one of our printing partners or your local 3D printing subcontractor who will do the work for you. And for the final time this year, we just want to say a huge, big thank you to our Praetor tier patrons. We absolutely cannot overemphasize how appreciative we are of all the support that we get from you. If it's just a like or a subscribe onto the video on the channel, or parting with your hard-earned for the additional content over on the Patreon, we are hugely appreciative. And it's been a tough year for us this year. We've managed to get through because we now have a financial commitment to you guys to actually get up and produce all this stuff. So an enormous thanks, but particular thanks to our Praetors who support us at the highest of tiers. Don't forget, if you are interested in joining the Patreon, now's the time to do it. Do it before midnight on Christmas Eve, and you may well be in with a chance to win an entire Mechanicum army amongst other goodies. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast as well. And there's also a free trial available on the Patreon too. So those who are particularly savvy shoppers can potentially win a Mechanicum army for nothing. Right. Anything else to say before we sign off for the year?
Just thank you from me to all the patrons, particularly for supporting us this year. Like, we literally could not do this without you. Like, I know John said, it's a time commitment, but I mean, we really love doing it. But we would not be at this point if we did not have Patreon support.
No,
so thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Lee, anything you want to say? A man of few words. Maybe
No.
find some of them now.
No, I'm good.
Fine. Right.
Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas. Hope Santa brings you all your heresy fucking
Hope
presents.
Santa empties his sack right onto your floor. If there's anything that you want to get in touch with us about, you can email heresyhammer30k@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram at heresyhammer. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Very interested to hear your good, bad, and uglies, and also your scores in the quiz. Can any of you beat our reigning champion, Lee? And again, if you would like to consider supporting the channel and getting a ton of additional content plus other bonuses, then you can head over to patreon.com/heresyhammer or click the link in the show notes and support us there. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful Christmas time, and we shall see you next year.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Wow.